I heard a story today about Sylvester Stallone, which I want to share with you. I thought it was a great story. Y'all know Rocky, the movie. One of the great movies of all time. Very inspirational movie. But maybe you don't know the story behind it. You see, Sylvester Stallone was almost homeless. Didn't have power in his apartment. Couldn't pay his bills. Didn't have much to his name. Had to sell his wife's jewelry to pay a bill. Got to the point where he had to sell his dog. That's pretty pitiful, man, when you give away man's best friend like that for $100. But see, he didn't want to give up on his passion. He was so passionate about wanting to become a movie star. Since he was a little kid, he dreamt of becoming an actor. And he pursued his passion on a daily basis, he would say. I know I'm going to make it. I see it. I envision myself succeeding. One night, he was watching a fight, and that inspired him to write a screenplay, which we all know as Rocky today. He went out, he tried to sell his script, got turned down. They said, it's really no good, man. It's just, come on, boxing movie, it's really, what good is that? It's really predictable. That's what they said. One night he just stayed overnight in front of the studio, one of the studios, stayed all night long. Somebody saw him the next morning and said, why don't you come on in, son? Talked to him, read his script, said they liked it. Wow. They offered him $125,000. You see, they had already an actor picked out in their mind. But Sly said, I'm Rocky, though. I want to play the part of Rocky. I've lived it, man. I know what it's like to be here. There's no one that's going to be able to play the part better than me. And they said, no. We've got somebody already picked out, somebody in mind, and take it or leave it. So he left it, walked away. They contacted him about a week later. Said, look, we'll give you $250,000 for your script, but you still can't act in it. You really can't speak too well, Sly. Little did they know that at birth, he was pulled out by the forceps. It caused some speech and, problems with him. And that's why he was that. But you know what? He had such a heart, and such a passion, such a drive. He says, I'm not going to give up, man. So he left it. Didn't take the $250,000. Another week or so went by. Made him another offer and said, we'll give you $325,000, but you still can't star in the movie. You can't play Rocky, man. I already got somebody picked out for the role. He said, no, I got to play the part. I know that's my destiny. He walked away from $325,000. Here's a guy that didn't have $50 to his name, had to sell his dog just to have some food. Some more time went by. Studio contacted him again. He said, look, we don't want to take a risk of putting that kind of money out on you. You're an unknown. You know, you really can't speak that well. Tell you what we'll do. We'll give you $35,000 and some profit sharing in the movie. That's the risk we'll take. They ended up spending $1 million to shoot that film, which is nothing in today's standards. Even back then, $1 million was nothing to do a film. You know that film went on to gross over $200 million? That's just the first one. And we know there was many other sequels after that. It just goes to show you, with the determination, no matter how bad things look for you right now, no matter how bleak things are for you, you might be unemployed, unhappy in your job, your present situation. If you change your attitude, you change your mindset, and focus on your God-given gifts and talents, you can achieve anything. Anything's possible. You're probably wondering about the dog, and so was I. Well, you know what? After he got the $35,000, he went back to the place where the man had bought the dog from him. He stood out in front of I think it was a liquor store. Every day he'd go there waiting for that man to come back. Finally, on the third day, that man came back and he says, hey, I want to buy my dog back. He says, dog's not for sale. I'll give you $500, he said. Man says, no. Dog's not for sale. Because I'll give you $1,000. Man, no. Dog's not for sale. I'll give you $1,500. And he kept offering. Finally, the outcome was he ended up spending $15,000 to buy his dog back. And the man wanted a part in the movie as an extra. So that was the deal. And the dog in the movie was actually Sly's dog. Now that's an inspiring story. And the reason why I share that story with you is because things are tough out there right now. And you might be feeling at your lowest point in your life. Don't give up. I encourage you to hang in there. Pursue your natural gifts and talents that you have. Develop them to their full potential. I'm Paul DeBellis, and you have a great day.